What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in on today's video. I'm your host Gabe, and today I'm gonna be talking to you guys a little bit about how I went about doing the Z28 hood insert on my 2010 Camaro SS. So this is my 2010 Camaro SS. It's featured in an aqua blue metallic color. So this is going to be the Z28 hood insert. Now throughout the video, I'm going to be showing you some clips, some pictures of pre and post and during operation of this particular mod. This actually was a modification that I strongly suggested that you guys that are Camaro owners do to your cars, and I've explained pretty much in depth as to why I think this is a perfect mod in that video. So card above, link in the description below. So not only does this Z28 hood insert serve for performance and an actual day-to-day functionality, but it also gives this car a lot more of a sportier enhancement to the overall look of the car. And of course, there are some things like the Z28 style splitter on the bottom and some other features, but that is definitely a mod that really transformed the look of the car completely. Here's a little before and after. As you guys can see, it looks so plain without it. It didn't look nearly as aggressive. So there's the 6.2 liter LS3 V8 engine. Okay, so here is the setup. It's very simple. Before, there used to be like a kind of like a heat shield tarp over here from the factory. I decided to take it down all directly just because there were some areas that were falling off, and it for me, honestly, it really didn't look as good. And it is completely see-through. I decided to not go with the water tray. You can order a water tray separately, or I don't remember if it came with it. Water does fall in here, and as of right now, these last couple years, I have really had no major issue with that. So, you know, is it something that I recommend? You know, you always want to be on the conservative side of things. You know, I don't want to say that you should not have a water tray, but, you know, for overall look and for the full performance, you know, functionality of it, I decided to not go with it. Just to be clear, this setup is definitely not the most presentable. It is kind of mediocre, but it works. It stays in place, and really there hasn't been any issues with this. I mean, it's never wiggled out of place or really fallen apart. It's been really good over the last couple years. All right, so now that we're gonna go ahead and disassemble the entire hood insert setup here, I did use 10mm, well, a socket of course, but I used these little nuts here that are 10mm. All right, guys, so this is how the hood looks like without the insert. You guys can see there's some imperfections around the operation area. So if I was a surgeon, I definitely would not get recommended. This is all actually like wax and stuff that never really got wiped appropriately, and just some dirt that accumulates here. Luckily, the Z28 insert, hood insert fits perfectly, and it kind of covers all of this imperfections. It would actually be pretty cool if I could get like a glass cover here, kind of like how the C6ZR1 has it. But again, I'm not supercharged or anything. It's nothing really impressive to look at. So I can't actually say that I was the only one that put this all together. Actually, a really good friend of mine helped me with building the template. Actually, he made the template that we use as a measurement when we put it on there. The Z28 hood insert has like this like foamy material, and that's basically to serve as a barrier between that and the actual hood. That way there's no scratches and whatnot. It's kind of gone bad over the last couple of years, but it's still there, so it does serve its function. So my friend actually measured basically around the ending of that, where that layer meets the actual like fin area here, where the air will channel out of. But basically he went around measuring that area, because you don't want to use this area here as a measurement because it'll fall through. So, you know, this Z28 hood insert has all of this space to basically use to cover it out. And again, I think we may have cut this just a little bit too wide, because in theory, it really shouldn't do that, like shake like that. But as you guys saw, when you put the braces in order, this thing will not move. here is the actual pictures of the frame that we use in order to basically use permanent marker to dot all the sides that we were going to cut from, right? Basically traced it out, as you can see in some of these pictures. One of the things that was very important for us to do, and which is actually where now I kind of use what my friend put together, which was that little frame there. We had to make sure that it was equally distant from here to here. So the space over here is very, very equal, if not like millimeters or centimeters. Something that's also extremely important is not only the positioning, you know, horizontally where we're gonna put it and where we're gonna cut, but also vertically as well. I would have preferred this to be about ½ an inch upwards, like this. But unfortunately, I cut lower. So it's not terribly noticeable. It does lift up a little bit here and it's not completely flushed. But nonetheless, it's very minimal. Now, some of you guys may be asking, what tools do I use to cut into the hood? Well, the hood is actually not as difficult to cut in. You can actually use a Dremel tool. No, kidding. I remember my family friend used a different tool. It worked very well for him. He was able to cut some of the lines straight. You know, we're not perfect, we're not surgeons or anything like that, but a simple Dremel tool should do the trick. So here's actually a little bit of what I recorded that day, and this is basically the video that, as this was happening, I was realizing that, all right, this solidifies everything. This is happening. These little things don't matter because it'll cover it, but you got to make sure that you don't overcut. If you start, you know, cutting over here, you know, you lose control and you cut over here, that's it. Like, you're going to probably have to get a new hood, and that's not cheap. It's not as bad as you guys think. If you have somebody that's really good with cutting, or if you're good with cutting, this shouldn't be that much of an issue. By the way, guys, I will put a link in the description below as to where you can buy this actual hood insert, but you can buy the water tray separately for this, or if it comes included, great. So now let's go ahead and show you what's going on underneath. It's basically this metal strip here that you can buy at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, or any hardware store. And I use 3 of them to kind of like brace from the bottom. I basically use like these 10mm nuts and a washer. And what I do is that I tighten it so it'll actually push upwards, because, you know, when you tighten it, it's adding pressure to push up. This is actually how it looks like from the bottom. I did not drill anything here. It comes exactly like this. Pretty sure a lot of these things are for the water tray, but I actually use these to serve as the points where I attach the metal braces, as you guys will see right now. The only thing that you guys have to do with these metal pieces, because they sell them like this, but unfortunately, these metal pieces here don't match up when you buy them originally with the water tray. So ultimately, it will require you to drill into the actual metal piece here. That way it aligns perfectly with the insert itself. And of course, in this situation, same thing. You can see that we marked it with permanent marker because that's what we had to drill into. So it'll match over here. You wanna make sure that it's in the same size of that, or a little bit bigger, just enough for it to obviously fall into place, and that it's not wide enough that it'll be in this situation, because then you're gonna need some of these larger washers here. It's actually gonna match perfectly with these 10mm nuts. This has worked sufficiently for me. I'll go ahead and put everything back and we'll go ahead and conclude the video. Perfect. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I do want to apologize if this is not the type of video you were expecting. Again, I really wasn't thinking about YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. The goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We're already at 3,000 almost. We're at 2,900. If you guys found this video informative and entertaining, go ahead and like this video as well. So if anybody is thinking about doing a Z28 hood insert on their car, they at least have a video to reference to. Again, it's not a step-by-step as we go along, but again, this is the best that I could do, guys. So thank you so much for your patience. Let me know what you guys think. If you have an easier solution, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in on today's video, and I will catch you next time.